Welcome back to WCCF Talks Gaming. This is your host, Keith. I'll be moderating this one once again. We got Alessio, Dave, and Chris in the house. Say hello, everybody.
What's up?
Hey.
Hello.
Chris has his music box. But other than the music box, we do have some pretty good topics to do today. It's not going to be a heavy PS5-centric podcast like it has been in the past, because that was the big topic then. We were off for a week because most of us were on vacation. Yes, we'll get around to it. So, we got some topics. We're going to kick things off, and we're going to kick it off with Star Wars Squadrons. So those of you out there who like space flight sims or space simulators, is it a simulator? We'll get some more details on that one as we go. Cyberpunk 2077 can't stay out of the headlines for good, bad, or indifferent, but we'll find out what's good, bad, or ugly on this one. And Marvel Avengers has creeped back up and made its way back into the headlines again. So we're going to get some details on that one from these guys. Hopefully they have some answers for the questions that I'm definitely going to have for them. Alessio, tell me, Star Wars Squadrons, is this a game I'm going to be interested in? I love, what's that game? Star Citizen? I know a lot of people, will hate on it, but I like Star Citizen.
The one that hasn't been released and never will.
There's that, and also... And Elite Dangerous, that's it. That's when I spend a lot of time in Elite Dangerous. So, Alessio, if Elite Dangerous is my game, is this one going to interest me? And what is it about? What's the big deal here?
Well, it's not like Elite or Star Citizen, because those are like MMOs in a way, large scale multiplayer. This is going to be more focused 5-on-5 multiplayer experience. But it sounds like it's going to be quite an interesting proposition, because it's building upon the foundation of Battlefront 2, which was pretty good when it came to dogfighting.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also making it a lot deeper. It will be possible to customize your ship's power to redirect all your power to the engine, for example, to do a speed boost, or to your lasers in order to fire more powerful shots. And you can also do drifting maneuvers the goal, as the developer said, it's basically to try and break the loop of dogfighting games where you are basically running away from someone, and or vice versa, and often it's hard to escape this loop because of the way dogfighting works.
Okay, no, you mentioned the drifting, which is a very realistic thing for spacecraft to do in orbit and space and all that jazz. This is one of the things I really did like about Elite Dangerous is, as you were flying, if you wanted to, you could almost strafe around something if you were racing or trying to line up with your port or whatever. But you're right, that hasn't been something. So it sounds like what we're getting is something more akin to Tom Clancy's Hawks, where it's really an exciting... shooter, like almost arcade, but with some realism mixed in. So you get the Star Wars universe, you get the X-Wings, the TIE fighters, but you're also getting to approach them from a more realistic standpoint than just an arcade style game.
And that's the real...
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
I was just saying that's the real thing. Is every time I look at it, I think TIE Fighter. I mean, that's such an old game, but there was also the expansion for the Old Republic, where you got into dogfights in the fighters, and I can't help but think it looks similar to that. But the main thing that sells me on this is the fact that EA's they've seen how successful Star Wars has been recently, especially after the issues they had with Battlefront 2. So I get the feeling, and this doesn't look like it's going to have any microtransactions, any loot boxes, and it looks like they are actually putting a lot of work into it. They're going to make it enjoyable for people, and also everything's in first-person mode only. So there's no third person. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, and it's also fully playable in VR, both on PC and PlayStation.
I'm sorry. That was my next question. I was gonna say that's the one thing I love about Elite Dangerous is flying around in VR. Look, I'm telling you guys, you can say VR is dead all you want to, Chris, but until you've flown in a cockpit, through space, and you can track your enemy by literally looking around. It will change it. It will change your opinion.
It's not so much that it's dead. It's more that it's like I don't know, decomposing.
My VR headset is not on the wall right now because it is in use in another room.
What is it? A paperweight?
No, my wife's using
that was pretty good. That was pretty good, Chris. I didn't see that one coming. You know what, though? Since we're on the subject of Star Wars flight games, I mean, first I want to say that I feel like Squadrons is quite obviously trying to carry the almost be a spiritual successor to Star Wars Rogue Squadron. That was many people's favorite Star Wars game once upon a time. If you're looking it up now, Keith, you'll see
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. You'll see fantastic reviews for Rogue Squadron, and I'm always happy to see another game similar to that. But also, if you do like Star Wars flight games, especially if for you, Keith, who wants to have a really interesting VR-like experience, Star Wars Battle Pod is actually an arcade game, which has like a surrounding screen, and it's a really high res, and it has like almost like a depth effect. It's not like perfect 3D or anything. But I used it a couple of times at an arcade in London, and that is a very, very interesting experience. It was made by the same guys who make those like Gundam arcade cockpits in Japan.
Okay.
Now, so that's pretty cool.
I do want to ask Alessio. Yeah, I'll definitely put that on the list. Send me that so I can make sure and keep an eye out for it. Alessio, the one thing you mentioned in it was a 5v5. Is this going to be more of a multiplayer-centric game, or is it going to be a narrative game? Or is there going to be like a storyline, or does it have both?
It's actually a storyline. So it will be possible to actually, fly as pilots, and there will be missions.
Okay, cool.
And it will be on both sides, I think. So you'll be able to get the perspective from both the Empire and the Republic or Rebels.
Now,
can I be an Ewok?
I hope not.
You already are halfway there, so.
Oof. These boys today, what the hell?
But hey, while we're on it, the thing with VR is there, Alessio, are there any other games that EA has out on their Origin platform that utilize VR? Because they just recently started working with Steam again. Do you think that may have had something a little bit to do with it? Because I don't think Origin has like a VR launcher through it, so it would launch through Steam and use Steam VR.
Yeah, likely. Yeah.
Okay.
Very possible.
It's just something to think
that's a good
about.
point. Good question.
And also, the game will support crossplay. So it's it seems like EA is going full crossplay, full Steam support on PC. So it's good to see them go this way.
Yes, actually, since before we go off EA, I'm sorry, Keith.
No, you're good.
Alessio's so right, crossplay, because at EA Play, where they also announced Star Wars Rogue Squadron, we had more Apex Legends stuff, and I just want to say, Apex getting crossplay support, yes, and also Nintendo Switch.
There is no situation, in my opinion, where crossplay is a bad thing.
No,
absolutely.
I think it's a wonderful thing to see, and it just makes it so much easier for those with a mouse and keyboard to dominate.
Depends on the game. It
actually does depend on the game, because in shooters like Apex, there have been a lot of complaints about controller users lately, because if you use controller, you get aim assist. And this is really good in situations like if you put down smoke, some people can aim assist through it. PC users got nothing.
Halo's bad about that too. If you're playing on PC, if you just I've seen people use a button to aim on the controller and use their mouse and keyboard just to get aim.
Terrible.
I know, right?
Aimbot.
Hey, you know what? Speaking of bots, hacks, and all of that stuff, what's going on with Cyberpunk 2077?
It just looks amazing. It just looks amazing.
I know, it looks gorgeous. It looks spectacular. I'm really concerned from my perspective whenever the game does come along and I have to put down the performance numbers because it's going to be a brutal thing to try and run. But what's big in the news here with this?
It's literally like, obviously I covered it about the version they've just shown at the Night City live event, the full Night City event. Yeah. So it's that was run using ray tracing and DLSS 2.0. and it's going to be massive. The screenshots that you see, yeah, the average person's not going to see that. And if you use it on console, you're never going to get that pure quality. And I imagine you're going to have a beast of a rig to play on everything max on PC. But it's CD Projekt Red. You like The Witcher 3. Yeah, there were a few issues here and there, but again, that looked beautiful. This looks beautiful in the way of like it's a monstrous big city where obviously horrible things happen, and it just looks so big. And that's the thing. It's just Cyberpunk. It's such a big world already, and everything they've shown, it keeps topping itself up.
Now, how much of that led to these delays? Because didn't it get delayed again?
Yes.
Is
November
it still coming out
the
this year?
18th
It is.
now?
It's still at least 2020, right?
November
November
Okay.
19th. Yeah.
19th, is it?
Do
Yeah.
you think that has anything to do with certain other potential launches?
You're allowed to. I don't know about launches, but you're allowed to say like. I think it's
Xbox
partly to do.
Series
Yes.
X. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Like, now we don't have any dates on the PS5 or the Series X.
Yeah, but actually, it's a good question because the general consensus is that we'll have both consoles by then.
Yeah.
And this, they may be doing some refining for these consoles at this point.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
if they're gonna launch it originally, when was it? September?
Mm-hmm.
You're
Yes.
rolling it back.
Yeah, I mean, it was originally going to be this spring, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It's been delayed
was,
twice now. Yeah.
But
it was in April, then September, and
Yeah.
now November.
Yeah, but if
So-
they launched in September, you're always going to have those day one issues, especially from the PC side where you got 500 bazillion different combinations of parts. But they're still going to release it across both generations of consoles. I imagine.
They have pretty much admitted already that it's not going to be fully optimized for the new consoles on day one.
Yeah.
It's going to have a new console patch, but they're
Okay.
expecting 2021, even 2022, for it to be perfect on the new consoles.
Okay, so my follow-up question to that is it going to run still? It's just going to run, right?
It'll run, yes,
Okay.
and it will look better than if you were playing it on the Xbox One.
So it'll be
or
just
the
more like a
PS4.
general, you switched on like PC settings up a little bit sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
From the sounds of it, that's going to be the day one patch for the new consoles. And then when in 2021, 22, that's what they said, 21 or 22, that it's going to really fully utilize the new consoles.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I agree, by the way. I do think that this game might be held back just a little bit, just for the sake of the new consoles, because you've seen how like this gen was really good to games like Dying Light and Shadow of Mordor, because there was very little else on the console at the time. And even now, Dying Light 2 has been indefinitely delayed, which to me says it just got moved to next gen.
yeah.
Because if it's one of the few next gen only big games at launch, then more people are going to buy it.
And it's a
And
game they
pretty
were
much
already,
anybody who's got the console will buy the game.
because
yeah,
it'll be
and-
one of the few enhanced for it. Yeah.
Well, and they were already developing it on the PC to have the ray tracing support and everything. So they were already putting in the big things for these next gen consoles. So yeah, I could see that.
No, I just wanted to say that on the other end, of course, developers love to put their games on the best possible platforms. But at the
Hey, it just
same
makes
time,
things easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, but
100%.
at the same time, on the revenue side, they cannot just abandon the hundreds of millions of consoles of this generation. So it's a tough spot, I think, for them to be in. But they're trying to get both the current generation users and those who will upgrade. They're basically telling them, if you want an actually good version of the game on console, you can get it on the new consoles.
Totally.
Otherwise you can play it on the current consoles, but I don't know how it's going to run over there, because like I said to Keith, this game is at least right now it's running at 1080p with ray tracing and the DLSS 2.0 on the RTX 2080 Ti. So It's and it's not always at 60 frames either, according to the reports. So it's they've got a lot of
they'll do a lot of
optimization to
optimization.
Yeah, I honestly think that this is going to be the game which, basically, if anyone's still got an original Xbox One, this is going to be the game which makes you think, I gotta get rid of this. I gotta get rid of this. Yeah, it's upgrade time. I think the enhanced consoles, the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro, I think they're going to be fine. Like, it won't look as good as next gen, but I think they're going to do fine. I think base PS4 and base Xbox One, it's getting sketchy for those consoles now.
You'll be running essentially at low graphics settings, like minimum probably.
It'll be close to it, yeah.
probably sub 30 frames as well.
Yeah, we'll see 720p on Xbox One for sure, and I'm willing to bet PS4 will be below 1080.
It just hurts.
Keith is face palming.
Keith's like, what's a 720?
No. Look, I actually built a small PC to play games on the living room TV, and I played at 720p, and it's not terrible, but I also had a different expectation.
Yeah.
I've always made the argument that if the game is the same and the resolution is all that's different, you're still playing the same game. However, there's a big difference when it comes. You really notice the frame rate. It's just that you get to a point where you drop down so much that the game, it's distracting while you're trying to play it. You know, there's a threshold. If the game is stylized and it runs whatever, but whenever you know that you're getting a subpar experience and you're chugging, it's just not a good experience. I could, like I said, I could play games all day long on my Xbox that's 30 FPS. I'm not going to play a 30 FPS game on my PC in front of me. I have different expectations for different hardware.
I completely agree.
But
and also, to be fair, we got to give CD Projekt Red some benefit of the doubt, because The Witcher 3 does run on Nintendo Switch.
Yep.
And if they can do that, then their next game can run on Xbox One.
So I'm reserving a lot of judgment until it launches, because even with the ray tracing stuff, with the fact that it's okay, so take the 2080 Ti, take DLSS 2.0, take everything into consideration and say that it's running around 60 FPS. This is months before launch. Okay. We were seeing games that launched with a single aspect of ray traced effects that couldn't pull that off.
Yeah.
I've been doing some stuff with DLSS 2.0. It's brilliant. It's so much better than the original DLSS. Like, NVIDIA should be, and they are, very proud of what they've done with that. And you've got DirectML coming along with that the Xbox One and the next generation Navi hardware should be able to take. There's a lot of those things going on. But I think between now and when it actually launches, I think we're going to see it. I think we're going to see it come up. And this is a game using multiple forms of ray traced effects. It's not fully path traced, so it's just the effects in the game.
Yeah, it's ambient occlusion, reflections, diffuse illumination, and shadows.
So it's got all of that. So the ambient occlusion is the hardest one. It's one of the ones that when you turn that on, and it changes the look of the game. It's fabulous. I even, through Metro Exodus, was perfectly fine taking the little bit of a blurry image just so that I could have it turned on, because DLSS back then was not that great. Shadows, I think shadows look great in games like Modern Warfare. If you turned it off, you could tell the difference. Something wasn't right. It was more subtle, real impactful. But a game like that, I could see turning on ambient occlusion and reflections and getting a lot out of that. Shadows, maybe not as much. But the fact that they have all those, you're going to be able to turn on, turn off, tweak, make your own choice.
Whatever suits you best.
I think for Cyberpunk, reflections will have to stay on, because
and that's the easiest one.
Just the design of the world, the fact that it's so many skyscrapers with pure glass and so many the neon signs and oh god,
that's like Control.
I wish I lived there.
Did you play it, Chris?
No. So the first hands-on previews have been quite recent, but I've seen it twice closed in Gamescoms, and from everything I've seen, it just looks amazing. Hopefully there'll be another possibility to get hands on before it actually releases. But I've already pre-ordered the collector's edition. I'm mad.
Yeah.
That's 250 quid.
I'm very hopeful about Cyberpunk because everyone's talking it up, just like Chris was just now, and everyone online is very excited. And even when I first saw the first trailer, I was like, "Oh my god, this looks incredible!" But I have to admit that so much of the expectation and anticipation for this is because of how good The Witcher 3 was.
Yeah.
And the thing is, one of the reasons The Witcher 3 was so good is that no one expected such a good game to come from this little Polish studio.
Especially after playing The Witcher 1 and 2, because they like those
especially
games
The Witcher 1.
I played them when they came out, but they were they were good in their own way, but it's so clunky and
it's better than Neverwinter Nights, but but yeah, like The Witcher 3 so rightfully blew a lot of people away.
Yeah.
And the thing is, now that people have those expectations, can this game again blow people away? Because the fact is, I don't really think that many other studios have even gotten close to the bar the Witcher 3 set for open world RPGs.
They haven't.
I think like Ubisoft has gotten pretty close, but not all the way there.
They've done it by copying it.
Yeah, of course. But like, for this game to truly live up to everyone's expectations, it needs to set the bar again. Can it?
Yeah.
I think they did smartly, even though it's Cyberpunk 2077, whole different. They didn't. It's such a departure that I think it's going to be able to allow them to separate the two.
Yeah, the fact that one's a fantasy RPG and this one's Cyberpunk. It's in the name.
Well, and different perspective, a completely different perspective on the game.
Actually, it has a lot of there are lots of different features in this game compared to The Witcher 3 because you have to consider, of course, the first-person view only. Then the fact that this is not a sweeping open world, but it's a dense city which goes up, vertically.
I think that's the major aim, verticality. Not many games really feature that as a feature. Verticality can really add so much to a world, especially if you're on a high building and looking down at, like, again, massive neon lights and people just going around the daily lives and somebody getting mugged in the street. It's all fun.
Do you think that's going to turn some people off? If they, maybe people go in with that expectation of this large, long, sprawling world, but it's really a vertical.
I think the fact that it's dense, that's the issue. So many open worlds are so sparse with content and features, and again, it could all be hype. I don't think it's going to be, but this looks like it's so dense and it's going to be so packed full of little stories. There likely will be, like, some games can have emergent gameplay where you just end up seeing you see somebody mug somebody on the street, you follow them, things like that can really add to the world.
So I think a vertical world design can actually work super, super well, but I need to see it in action. And the one thing I'm worried about is just getting from place to place, because I don't want an elevator with a loading screen. That's for damn sure.
It reminds me
of CES. Don't actually want to be climbing a lot of stairs.
Mass Effect and Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh my god, tell me about it.
That's what I started thinking about when you talked about verticality. It reminded me of, I always joke about CES. It's like, the place I'm going is 1 block away, but I'm on the 36th floor and I got to get down, go across, and go up to the 55th.
I think it'd be really cool if you could, like, hop in an elevator and real time, you literally see his elevator shoot up 50 floors. Like, the camera pans out and it's real time following the lift and go. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that'd be excellent. But
we need those Super Mario Brother cannons. Just drop them and just shoot you to the.
On the movement front, I'm afraid I have some bad news because just a few days ago, with the recent previews, they have confirmed that wall running has been removed.
Wait, what?
Wall running?
No wall running.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I can live without that. I can live without that so long as the rest of the game's great.
Now, what they need to do is implement an Iron Man style mobility way to get around.
I'd be
But
into
you,
it.
yeah. Now maybe they will, maybe they won't. But you can definitely. Can you? I may have to ask somebody this. In Marvel's Avengers, can you be Iron Man? Is he
Oh,
in
here we
there?
go.
Yes.
I believe so. Yeah,
Yes.
I need some
Another good
details on this.
segue. Another good segue. So
he's
I
doing
don't-
it, isn't he? He's doing it.
I don't know if I'm the only person, but I might be the only one who's had hands on with Marvel's Avengers.
Go
Tell
on.
me about.
Gamescom.
Give me. Tell me this is everything I want it to be because Ultimate Alliance was not. Oh no! Don't you tell me this.
So, so the hands-on preview I had was quite a linear aspect of the game. It was essentially the prologue. So
Okay.
it's introducing you to each of the characters: Black Widow, Iron Man, Hulk, Cap, America, and it was literally just a linear path. But you can use them all. You can use their special abilities. They don't look the same as in the films.
No, that's one of the
bad
things I
vibe.
like. I actually like that about it. Is
Yeah,
it,
I don't mind it.
it looks like
I
it's
actually-
a completely separate universe. It's not part of the MCU.
Yeah. So
So,
I actually really like the design of Cap. But from everything that's been shown after the fact, it's the concern is, again, we've just talked about open areas, open worlds. This isn't one big open world. You go into a mission. It's quite an open area with different things to do. But previews recently have made it sound like it could be quite sparse content-wise.
I was afraid of that. Launch
yeah.
Destiny.
Yeah, it sounds like it could be a bit Destiny, but probably a bit better. don't
You
know
mean
what-
that there are different regions that you have to fly?
Yes.
Well,
there
yeah.
is Launch Destiny. Jesus. I was joking. No.
Oh no.
No, that doesn't hugely surprise me though. Like, I want to be excited for it, but when I haven't played it, so Chris can answer some questions that I have after this. But I'm feeling really apprehensive right now because I've played so many sort of live service multiplayer games, and after Anthem, you're going to be apprehensive about anything.
Wait,
you know what I
this
mean?
is a live service game.
Yes.
I'm
Well,
out.
I mean, it's
a games as a service game, yeah.
I'm out.
This is it, isn't it?
Thieves, Anthem.
Yeah,
Uh,
this is it.
The problem is some of the games, like Sea of Thieves, became really, really, really
but,
good.
games as a service doesn't mean the game sucks.
No,
No,
doesn't. It doesn't.
yeah.
I have adopted a personal
It's just
rule.
a bad track record.
I've adopted a personal rule. Whenever I see there's enough after the game's launch to justify me going in, I will. I no longer jump on up front thinking this is cool. I'm ready.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. Here I am still waiting for Anthem 2.0.
I am thinking about playing Destiny 2.
I think certain studios,
now's the time.
BioWare, have ruined it for people.
Oh jeez.
I played through Destiny 2 before it came over to Steam.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the core game, but there's a lot of weeds to get lost in that.
Yeah.
But to be fair, Destiny 2, this is off topic now. Destiny 2 I'm jumping back to because A, it's free to play, and they've had a lot of DLC expansions. So I have a team of 3 that we already play Apex Legends on.
Oh, yeah.
We're getting sick of Apex Legends.
Go play
Time
Destiny.
to
It's fun.
hop over to... Yeah, we can all go raiding and stuff, and
Yeah.
it'll have a...
There's fun
you know,
there. There's fun
If you're doing it by yourself, completely different situation.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend playing Destiny by yourself.
I played it with my brother. We had a lot of fun.
Well,
That's okay.
It's the same with any MMO. Just as Chris knows, playing it with friends, it's much
Yeah,
better.
of course.
So what you're
I'll
telling
be
me
ready.
is if you've got good friends, the game can suck.
I think if you've got a solid team of friends, any game can be good, even if it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's what I was
Yeah.
It's the actual. It's the working together, the chat that
It's
comes
like
around
it makes the game better. Of course, if
Yeah,
it
of
sucks,
course,
it
yeah.
will be decent. I don't know.
Yeah, like everyone. I don't know if you remember the reviews from Ghost Recon Breakpoint that came out a while
Oh
back.
God.
But basically, everyone said this game sucks so much, but also I had some fun with my friends played with me.
Yeah.
As a game,
That-
it was absolute dogger, but then when you
I'll
actually
agree
play
with
it
that.
with friends, you can have a laugh about it.
Yeah, let's pull it up.
But yeah, so with Avengers,
What's
yeah,
the combat like, Chris? Is it? Are you
It's
gonna
quite
like
fluid.
be firing off Iron Man lasers and there's just like 200 damage popping off the enemy each time?
Do you-
it's
Are they sponge bullets? Do you feel like you have
that's my question,
power?
basically.
You feel like you have power. You
But
can.
it's not too easy, right?
No, from what I played, it's like again, it was the preview. It was essentially the prologue, so it's just introducing the power. It didn't feel too easy. I really enjoyed using Hulk, especially with his massive clap, just sending
Okay.
everybody flying. And I also enjoyed using
No,
Cap.
actually, it's an interesting. They revealed lots of information on how you can customize your hero.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of customization in there.
Yeah, a lot, and I mean both visual but also gameplay. I mean there are lots of different slots, skills that you can take. For example, you can like if you get Pym gear, like Ant-Man's gear, so you basically can shrink your enemies.
Okay,
right?
so
Which is pretty
so
cool.
what I'm hearing is there's a lot of fun to be had.
Yeah.
It's okay. So
The concern will be the fact that it's like any of those live service games where you start in a hub and you just end up pissing off to different missions, and just hoping that the mission itself's going to be fun and engaging.
But it
yeah.
should be, as far as what they've said, beyond the full, there should be a full campaign about as long as a Tomb Raider game, because the developer is Crystal Dynamics.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
And
those are all promising.
Yeah, and also the Warzone missions, which are basically the multiplayer missions. You can also actually do them solo or with a friend. You can basically customize I have myself and a friend and 2 AI, or 3 and 1. So basically, you can do it however you want. And then these Warzone missions, of course, aren't as story focused as the single player missions, but they should still have some storyline, some story bits.
I'll do you a deal, Keith. I'll play it with you.
Okay. So
hopefully they make it cross-play as well. So,
well, it sounds a little more promising. It sounds like it's definitely not just an open water game where you can vote about.
Also, actually, they've recently confirmed that it will be announced on the next generation consoles.
Okay.
And it will also have ray tracing on those, so it's interesting.
Cool.
Yeah. Me and you will play it, Keith.
I'm tentatively excited. I would, as of any game, I want it to be good, but as of any live service game, I'm apprehensive.
Yeah.
It's a full price live service game, right? How are they going to monetize it long term? Expansions? Are you buying characters?
There's, as far as I'm aware,
the heroes are going to be free. They said it.
Okay.
So it's probably going to be like cosmetics or something.
Yeah. Fair enough. I'm good with that. So sell you extra lives.
Fingers crossed Square Enix pull through. Who's the developer again, Chris?
Crystal
Dynamics.
They do
the
good
Tomb Raider
work.
devs.
They do. All right, fingers crossed.
Here's hoping for good stuff.
Actually, I have a last one is that I want to put on the table. Square Enix apparently recently said that an investors meeting that they will be announcing few new games between July and August. So any guesses?
Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy.
Beyond Final Fantasy.
I don't see Final Fantasy VII Remake 2 happening, but
no, that's not going to happen anytime soon.
No.
By the time I'm 50, maybe.
They're gonna
a few years.
So brand new game announcements from Square, huh?
You think they're going to be a new game or an existing IP?
Potentially a new Tomb Raider.
I would be super happy. You know what we could see? A follow-up to Sleeping Dogs.
Oh God, I'd love that.
Yeah, I have no idea. You know me, I would really like it to be some weeb crap. And of course, they've got the Nier remake coming up, and we haven't really seen anything of that, so that'd be cool to see.
A new Yoko Taro game.
It would be cool to see a new Yoko Taro game. I think he recently did a mobile game. Yeah, but it wasn't that great.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a new Final Fantasy mentioned. An actual core release, not another Final Fantasy remake. And again, it'll be announced, but like every other Final Fantasy recently, you'll be looking at another 3 years down the line before it's released.
No core Final Fantasy games ever going to be made again. Ever.
Say that
I don't
to
know. I'm just not crossing my fingers for 16 for a
Tactics.
long time. Oh my god, please.
FF Tactics.
Please.
Dirge of Cerberus 2.
Jeez. Yeah,
That
yeah.
would be cool. Vita only, though.
I would be okay with a tactics collection. Just throw all the Final Fantasy Tactics games in a fucking emulator.
The last one I got to
I
play
swore
was
right at the end as well. Right at the end. Mark that down.
Well, guys, I think
I've
that's
already
a
swung.
good point to wrap it up. We covered Star Wars Squadrons, Cyberpunk 2077, as well as Marvel Avengers. Anybody have any parting words for the audience other than thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you in the next one?
Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, very much true.
Alessio, you?
Well, it's going to be an interesting July, I think, because
Can't wait.
Microsoft is going to be announcing lots of their new first-party games at last. So that'll be.
Are they actually going to have any gameplay?
Yeah, they said they're going to address this. So it's,
Well, hopefully
they heard
hopefully-
the feedback.
when is that going to be at in July? Did we have a date yet?
No, actually not yet.
Hopefully
So
by
it's-
next go around, we may or may not be around next weekend. I'm not 100% certain. It's a national holiday here in the States, so we're going to go blow stuff up. Otherwise,
Take it easy.
we'll catch you then, or we'll catch you guys in the next one. Either way, it's been WCCF Talks Gaming. Enjoyed it. Catch you in the
revoir.
next one.
Peace out.
Yo.